I've got the new DJI Mavic Zoom here. What makes it different than all the other DJI drones? It's got zoom! On the outside, the body is just a little bit bigger than the previous model, but more streamlined. It weighs a bit more and uses redesigned batteries. These batteries, along with the upgraded motors, they actually increase the flight time to 31 minutes from 27, increases the top speed to 45 miles per hour, up from 40 in the previous Mavic Pro, and it's all a little bit quieter. It's important to note, though, with this redesigned battery, no previous battery chargers are compatible. Even though the pins look very similar, they don't quite fit. Now, one of the biggest visual differences between the previous model and the new Mavic Zoom is all of these little cameras on the outside. Now, the previous model only had front sensors, making it possible to fly backwards into a tree in Croatia, just as a random example, I'm saying. In addition, these front sensors on the Mavic Zoom, they assist with tracking. Now, this provides the ability to not only track faster moving subjects and be smarter about that tracking, but it can actually make predictions about their trajectory even when the view might be temporarily blocked. I tried this out the other day with my son on the playground. It followed him around the playground structure and then actually ended up in the playground structure and not only managed to continue to track him, but also not crash into any of the little bars that were sticking up into the sky as well. I was pretty impressed, but just a little bit nervous about it.
Good job, little buddy.
Now, the remote looks very similar to the previous model, but we do have this three-way switch on the side for moving from normal to tripod and sport mode. So 3 modes on that switch now. And this might seem like a little tweak, but these joysticks are actually removable. They unscrew and stow in the body, and it makes it a smaller profile and much easier to pack up. This actually can make a pretty significant difference in how small a camera bag you can fit all of this into. Underneath, you've got the same buttons and dials as the previous model, but now that right dial controls the zoom. You can customize all of these controls quite easily within the app. The connection from the remote to the drone uses the new OcuSync 2.0, which that supports 1080 streaming up to 5 miles. It does some other smart stuff in the background that keeps that streaming high quality, even in areas where a lot of people might be on their Wi-Fi. I mean, I mentioned this in a recent review of the Parrot drone. Drones that rely on Wi-Fi alone, like the Mavic Air and like the Parrot Anafi, they can really suffer in populated areas with the quality of the stream. In the week that I've been flying this, the proprietary OcuSync 2.0 has delivered some consistently excellent quality, even at range. Now, the new model gains a few more QuickShot modes that several have already been in the Mavic Air for a while, but we've got hyperlapse, time-lapse in the sky, and of course those asteroid and boomerang. And you know what, instead of just talking about these, let's head out into the wild and give them a try. All right, so there's a few new QuickShot modes available to us in the Mavic Zoom. And you know, some of these have been available in the previous Mavic Air, like asteroid and boomerang. But now with those cameras at all angles and that omnidirectional obstacle avoidance, I certainly feel a little safer when it's running through those automatic motions. And I know that if I started someplace dumb where it's going to end up backing into a tree, it's going to stop and not actually crash into that tree. That's helpful. But we also have the addition of hyperlapse, which is that time lapse in the sky. And again, all of these are very easy to set up with just a couple of quick presses, and a couple more decisions you need to make for the hyperlapse, like how long you want it to run and whether or not you want it to just stay stationary or move forward through the sky or rotate around a point of interest are all options available to you. And again, I cannot stress enough how incredibly smooth and stable this footage looks, and it's just a really cool way to make a time lapse from wherever you want of anything you want. You're no longer constrained by having to set up a tripod somewhere. That's cool. And then the newest feature, and one that is specific to this drone, the Dolly Zoom. That's a very specific type of shot that requires some serious work to get, or at least it has before this drone has come along. As the drone moves backward through space, it uses its optical zoom, that's right, it has an optical zoom, to zoom in and keep the subject stationary. Now, as that zoom happens, you're compressing the foreground and background, and you're just kind of making the area around it, around your subject, look a little bit more epic. And here's the key, and or the rub, depending on your perspective. If you don't have an epic area, then it just kind of seems like a weird moosh shot. And so now that it's so easy to do with this drone, I feel like we're gonna see a lot of these and they're gonna lose some of their coolness. But if you're somebody who's frequently standing on top of mountains or in other really epic locations where a quick Dolly Zoom type shot can add some pizzazz to your work, then it's worth thinking about. Now, one downside to all of these is they are limited to just 1080p resolution. Even though this is a 4K capable drone, when you're doing quick shots, including the Dolly Zoom, you are limited to just 1080. With the hyperlapse, however, you can save those individual frames and have a larger resolution file if you want to put them together down the road. The defining feature of this drone is the zoom. I mean, it's in the name, Mavic Zoom. It's a 2x zoom at 4K, but if you drop down to 1080, you can actually get a 4x through a digital but lossless zoom. And you know, it doesn't sound like a whole lot, but it can really change the perspective. A 24 to 48 millimeter view on the world can shift pretty dramatically that background difference and get you a little bit closer to your subjects. But then on the other hand, I've been flying the previous model around now for 2 years, and I really struggle to think of the number of times where I wished I could have zoomed in closer and not just flown this a little closer. But again, that perspective change is nice, and also with additional no-fly zones popping up here and there, maybe having that zoom lets you get a little bit closer and still stay in the legal boundaries. All right, so, you know, there's a kayaker out here along the Seattle city skyline, and well, one, as I was flying out to him, I realized the zoom really can make a difference, and he went from being this little speck to actually being something that we could see in the footage without getting too close to disturb his evening. Overall, this is a more versatile drone than the earlier models, but you know, I'm disappointed those quick shot modes are limited to just 1080p in this 4K capable drone. And overall, we've got general image and video quality that's very similar to its predecessor. But if you were looking for your first drone, I mean, that omnidirectional obstacle avoidance and that smarter tracking, I mean, those are really helpful features. And the ability to zoom, that's pretty nice and certainly something to consider. If you are an owner of the original Mavic and are considering upgrading, I would probably skip the zoom unless you have a specific need for that specifically. Hang on to what you have or consider the Mavic Pro 2. My full review of that coming soon. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell to be notified of future videos, drone crashes, and photography tutorials. Links to the drones I talked about in this video along with the must-have accessories, they're all listed right down below. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.